Hello everyone. Today we will complete the topic transportation with the transportation in plants. Okay, in our previous classes we have completed the transportation in human beings. So today we will continue with the topic transportation in plants. As I have told you that in human body or in other animals some materials can be transported from the region of their availability to the region where it is not present or where it is less in amount. Like that, in case of plants, some materials can be transported also. So, what are the different materials can be transported in case of plants? So, it is water, mineral, food, okay, hormones. These are the some examples which can be transported in case of plants. So, how these transportation in plants can take place in plant body? So before starting that, we need to know that if the distance is small or distance is quite less, then materials can be transported through the diffusion. But distance is quite large, or then what will happen? A proper transport system is required for transportation. I am repeating, if the distance between the two is very small, then materials can reach from one parts to another parts by diffusion. But the distance is large, they require a proper transportation system. So for that transportation in case of plants, they are having vascular bundles that are xylem and phloem. So what are they? That is xylem and phloem. These two are helping in transportation of water, minerals, food, hormone, etc. What is the function of xylem? Xylem helps in transportation of mainly water and minerals. And what is the function of phloem? Phloem helps in the transportation of mainly the food and some organic materials, hormones, etc. Okay, so mainly we can say now that water and mineral transport is involved with the xylem and food transportation is involved with the phloem. And now we have to know what are the different parts of the xylem. Xylem and phloem both are having 4 components. What are they? In case of xylem, first one is tracheids. Tracheids, then vessels, then xylem parenchyma, then xylem fiber. Okay, so what are the different, first let me continue with the different parts of the xylem. So what are the 4 main components? Tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, xylem fiber. Tracheids or vessels are quite tube-like structure. Okay, they are called tube-like structures like that. And inside their body some structures are present which are called as peaks. Okay, this is tracheids and this is vessel. These are the parts of that xylem that are tube-like structures, and some pores are present which are called as peaks. These tracheids and vessels are mainly helps in the transportation of water and minerals. These tracheids and vessels are mainly helps in the transportation of water and minerals. But what happens? In case of flowering plants, both tracheids and vessels are working together in transportation of water and minerals. But if it is non-flowering plants, the vessel is absent. Only tracheids are playing role in transportation of water. And in case of non-flowering plants, only tracheids are playing role. So I am repeating, xylem is having 4 parts: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, xylem fiber. Tracheids and vessels are some tube-like structures which are helping in transportation of water and minerals. But in case of flowering plants, both tracheids or vessels are performing that role. But in case of non-flowering plants, they are not they having vessels. That's why only tracheids are playing role in transportation of water and minerals. Okay. And what is the function of xylem parenchyma? And what is the function of xylem fiber? So in that 4 parts only xylem parenchyma is living, else it is helps in food storage or any other functions are having that part. So it is the xylem not only that part, that xylem parenchyma is only living. Okay, it is helps in storage, and that xylem fiber gives us the support. So tracheid, vessels and xylem fiber, all 3 are non-living part. Only one part is living, which is called as xylem parenchyma. So in case of xylem, 3 parts are non-living, only one part is living, which is xylem parenchyma. So now we will see the different parts of the phloem. These are the main 4 parts of phloem, that is sieve tubes, companion cell, phloem parenchyma and phloem fiber. Okay, so these sieve tubes are mainly helping in transportation of food. And now we'll see the structure and what is the companion cell. Companion sieve tubes are not having any type of nucleus. Companion cells are helping in metabolic activity of the sieve tube because these are having nucleus. And what is the function of that phloem parenchyma? That is, it helps in the storage of food and not in, I have mentioned mistakenly I have said that in case of xylem parenchyma, not, it is in case of phloem parenchyma. Xylem parenchyma is helps in the flow of the water, that means it takes part in lateral flow of the water, but in case of phloem parenchyma sometimes it helps in the storage. And what is the function of that fiber? It is also that non-living part, it helps in the mechanical support and storage. And what is the now in case of phloem only one part is non-living, that is phloem fiber, and these 3 are living. But in case of xylem only one part was living, 3 part was non-living, but in case of phloem it is quite different, that is 3 parts are living, 1 part is non-living. And in the opening of the sieve tube there are some plates which are called as sieve plates. I am drawing that. If that is a xylem, that is some structure like that. Okay, so if we consider that this part is phloem tube, sieve tube, and there are some plates are present that are called as sieve plates. Okay, they are having some perforated wall. This is called as sieve plate, and beside that sieve tube there is cell present, which is called as companion cell. As I have mentioned, that companion cells are having nucleus, and this is another nucleus containing component, which is phloem parenchyma, and the tube-like structure, which is called as phloem fiber. Okay, so these are the different parts of phloem. Now if I say that differentiate between xylem and phloem, easily you can do that part. That is, in case of xylem, it helps in transportation of water and minerals. In case of phloem, it helps in transportation of mainly food. If in case of phloem, they are having 3 non-living part, 1 living part, and in case of phloem, they are having 3 living part, 1 non-living part. Okay, and in case of xylem, the direction is unidirectional, but in case of phloem, the direction of flow is bidirectional. How unidirectional and how bidirectional? Now we will see. So now, if I consider that transportation in plants, mainly these materials are needed to be transported, that is water and minerals, and second one is food. So how water is mineral is transported by 2 processes, mainly with the help of that 2 processes, mainly transport of water can be there. So first we will know about the transpiration, then root pressure, then transport of food, which is called as translocation. The transport of water by xylem in the process is called as ascent of sap. What is called as ascent of sap. But in case of food, the transport of food, it is called as translocation. But it is called as translocation. And water and minerals can be transported by some different ways. So first one, that is transpiration. So what is transpiration? Transpiration is loss of water in the form of water vapor through the plant body. What is transpiration? Transpiration is the loss of water in the form of water vapor through the aerial parts of the plant. I am repeating, transportation means loss of water in the form of water vapor through the aerial parts of the plant. It is called as transpiration. It is called as transpiration, and transpiration may be of some types, that is cuticular transpiration, stomatal transpiration. That means if transpiration occurs on the surface of the leaf where cuticular present, that type of transpiration is called as cuticular transpiration through the cuticular covering of the aerial parts, and maximum amount of transpiration can take place through the help of the stomata. That's why it is called as stomatal transpiration. And if we want to perform an experiment to demonstrate this transpiration, what we will do? We need to take 2 pots, and in one pot there will be a leaf. That means a pot with plant, and in another pot just put a stick of the same length of that plant. Okay. So first what we have to do? We have to take 2 pots, one pot with a plant and another pot with a stick of the same length of that plant. Then you need to cover it with a plastic. Okay, you need to cover it with a plastic and make it airtight. So after some times, what you will see, that some water droplets you will find here. In case that plant where that plant is present, but in case of, that means that that part will be wet. But in case of in case of plant where only stick was there, no plant was over there, that time no changes you will find, because it indicates that transpiration has occurred in case of plants, but if there is no plant, transpiration doesn't occur. So with the help of that experiment, we can conclude that transpiration, and why that part became wet, because evaporation has been occurred due to that gaseous exchange. Now we will move to that transpiration part. So transport of water and minerals usually occurred by the root hairs, because inside that water is available under the soil, so they will take the water through their roots, and in the upper part of the root we have seen that root hairs are present. So with the help of that root hairs, water and minerals will be absorbed to the inner part of the plant. So due to that transpiration, what is happening, that from the leaves transportation is occurring, so huge amount of gases, water molecules are moving out of the plant as in gas form. So there is a vacant space, and that one is creating a suction pressure, and due to the suction pressure the water is moving from that root hairs to different parts, upper parts of the plant. So what is that? That transpiration helps in the absorption of upward movement of water and minerals dissolved in it, because waters are not dissolved in it from the roots to the leaves, and it also helps in the maintaining the temperature also. And the how, if I draw a diagram of a plant, just imagine that is a leaf, okay. So what is happening, that is if that one is a water molecule, it is releasing out through transpiration. Now this space is vacant, the water molecules are present here, so this water molecule will move there, this water molecule will move, this one. So at last there will be a vacant space, and this vacant space will be filled by this. That means a suction pressure will be created, and due to that pressure water from that part will be moved to the plant body, and this is called as transpiration pool. Transpiration pool. This is called as transpiration pool, and that property is called as ascent of sap. As I have told you that property is called. I am drawing a rough diagram. Look, this is the mesophyll cells in leaf. This is palisade parenchyma, spongy parenchyma, stomata, and through the stomata transpiration is occurring. So for that, what is happening, through the roots here, water is entered, and then it reaches to the cortex, then it reaches to the endodermis, then move to the xylem, and this is the xylem. With the help of that, the water is passing through that part. That means a development of negative pressure due to the loss of water, that will create a suction pressure and withdraw of the water from the xylem channels. Okay, that process is called as ascent of sap, and this is also known as cohesion adhesion theory. Okay, cohesion means force found in between the water molecules, and adhesion force found in the water and the xylem channels. Okay, these two are the driving force which are helping in the ascent of sap. And these are discovered by two scientists, Dixon and Joly. Okay, and now we will know what is root pressure. Just imagine that one is also a plant. Roots are present. These are the root hairs. Okay. Roots are present. These are the root hairs. What happens? Water and minerals are present here. So some ions are getting inside that part. Through the root hairs, they are, with the help of the diffusion, they are getting inside that root part. So after that, what will happen? The salt ion concentration will be higher in that part. So due to that higher concentration, what will happen? The water then will move from low solute concentration to high solute concentration. This is called as osmosis. So diffusion and osmosis are taking main part in that type of transportation in plants. So I am repeating, that is that a root pressure, that means a pressure created in that root which is helping in that transportation of water. How? That means if ions are present inside that soil, the ions are moved to that part inside the root, so there the concentration of solute will be higher, that means concentration of water will be less. So what will happen? The water will move to that concentration to lower part and through osmosis, and this inward, due to inward movement of that ions, pressure that is created inside the root, and due to that water can be inserted inside the root. That is called as root pressure, and that root pressure is also helping in transportation of water and minerals. Okay, so that is how water and minerals are transported in case of plants. Now how food can be transported in case of plants? Foods are transported by the process which is called as translocation. The process of transportation of food is called as translocation. And what is translocation and how it has been occurring? That is that they produce the food in, foods are produced on the leaves. Okay, so you will consider that is a leaf. Okay, so food has been produced inside the leaf by the process of photosynthesis, and this food has to be transported to non-aerial, non-leafy parts, that means the aerial parts or different parts of the plant. So in that case, the xylem seed tubes or seedlets are helping in that case in transportation of the food. And the food, the region of the supply of food is called as source. You need to know these two terms, source and sink. The region of the supply of the food is called as source, and while the utilization is there, it is called as sink. And the transport of food is in all direction, that is from downward, upward. That's why it is called as the transport of food in with the help of the xylem. It is multidirectional or bidirectional. But in case of water, we have seen that water will be transported from the roots to different body parts. So it is called as, it is bidirectional. But in case of xylem, it is multidirectional. Okay. So that is how the food is transported, and in that case some from different part, that's why some energy is required, and it is the energy can be supplied by the ATP. Okay, and sometimes it is called as active transport. So this transport of soluble photosynthetic products is called as translocation, and with the help of the food phloem, that translocation can be seen, and these substances are specially delivered to which part? That is the storage part, like food storage organs of roots, fruits, seeds, and to growing organs. And I have told you that why ATP is required for that translocation, or why more energy is required, is in case of translocation of food. So that is all about transportation of water and minerals, and in case of transportation of food. Okay, so we have completed that transportation part. That in-text questions are left. First let me finish the chapter, because only expression part is left. After that we will discuss all the questions. Okay, so if you are having any queries, to ask me through your reporter. Okay. Thank you.